Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. And despite the disappointment that was for Formula 1 this weekend, there was a hell of a lot more motorsport from all over the world, like IndyCar and Indy NXT from Alabama, USA, World Endurance from Spa, TCR World Tour from Portugal, Formula 2 from Azerbaijan, F1 Academy from Austria, Supercars from Australia, Euro Formula and even some rally raiding in Mexico. So, with all that to go through, subscribe now and let's jump straight into the video. We'll start with IndyCar. Romain Grosjean's luck surely has to turn around and lead to victory at some point, right? Well, he led early on, which is as close to tempting fate as you want to get. Felix Rosenqvist was an early spinner, making contact with Joseph Newgarden. At the midpoint, it looked like another fight between Romain Grosjean and Scott McLaughlin was on the cards. So I got the popcorn ready, expecting one heck of a fight. It didn't disappoint, with Romain Grosjean doing a great job of holding back the superstar Kiwi and even getting back past him after the pit stops. Sadly, he would make a mistake and Scott McLaughlin would get back past and take the win, leaving a disappointed Grosjean in second once again. That win is coming. He has finished second 5 times in IndyCar, but with a bit of luck he could have won every race in IndyCar so far in 2023. Grosjean and McLaughlin are both title contenders this year, as is Will Power, who put in a great performance to finish third after starting 12th on the grid. Marcus Ericsson still leads the points, but it is very tight between the top 8 or 9 drivers. I'm starting to lose hope with Jamie Chadwick. After years of dominating W Series, I hoped she could take that success to another series, proving the W Series wasn't a complete waste of time. Unfortunately, she has so far not been competitive in Indy NXT. She got caught up in another incident here, and that was that. Not her fault, but it has not been a great start to life in America. I still think she could have a future in IndyCar, but the Formula 1 dream is fading. I had high hopes for Jacob Abel and Matteo Nannini as well, but they came together at the halfway point, ending both their races. And it was a good race. Lewis Foster had a big crash and brought up the red flag, with just 5 laps of racing remaining. Christian Rasmussen took a very good win, but there was time for some more drama. Winner of the season opener Daniel Frost dive-bombed teammate Josh Green and removed them both from the top 5. It was a good race, I much enjoyed. World Endurance has been my favourite race series of 2023. It was 6 hours of action at Spa-Francorchamps, and it was a damp track at the start. This caused a split in tyre choice. The wet-tyred cars took an early advantage, but soon fell away as the track dried. Ferrari suffered the most, having to pit for slicks early and then struggling to warm their tyres. Even before the start, the 66 Porsche spun multiple times, which was a great source of entertainment. There were some big accidents in the hypercar class. Renger van der Zande destroyed the second Cadillac, making its first appearance and already needing some new bodywork. Jacques Villeneuve collided with a backmarker and had to retire his Vanwall. Antonio Falcao spun his Ferrari just after a pit stop and did a fair amount of damage. Porsche also had their issues with the number 6 car stopping on the track. That left the Toyotas to dominate yet again, with the 7 car taking the win and the 8 starting from the back and ending up in second place. The 51 Ferrari got on the podium, close to the end and only a minute behind the Toyotas. When you consider they lost time on the wets at the start and a lot of time warming tyres, they got caught out when their teammate crashed and had to pit twice. The Ferraris are not far off the pace of Toyota, and just in time to make Le Mans exciting. Porsche look good as well, and so do Cadillac. Peugeot, on the other hand, they just look a lot slower, somewhere between the top teams and the smaller entries from Vanwall and Glickenhaus. It's enough to make me salivate over the thought of a full hypercar class at Le Mans anyway. In the other classes, Team WRT took LMP2 glory. Kubica, Delatraz and Rui Andrade are a good trio. And in the GT class, we had our first ever female winner in World Endurance Racing, Lilu Radu, alongside Alessia Rivera and Louis Perez Companc, won in the Richard Mille Ferrari. The Corvette was second and has a commanding lead in the GT class. All in all, it was a great race, and Le Mans 2023 is going to be incredible. I feel it in my bones. Formula 2 and the sprint race was a crazy affair that led to a lot of retirements. Dennis Hager led the majority of the race, but only after an unlucky Zane Maloney and Richard Verschoor retired after a messy start. Victor Martins was up there once again as well. Roy Nissany had his crash on his own, and that brought out the safety car. It was from that restart that absolute chaos erupted. Dennis Hager hit the wall and crashed out whilst leading. Much worse was Victor Martins ploughing into the wall before Jehan de Rouvelade pretty much just drove straight through him. Théo Pourchaire, Arthur Leclerc and Jack Doohan all retired in sympathy. It was a mess, and the race ended under safety car. Oliver Behrman took the win from teammate Frederik Vesti at the absolute perfect time. The feature race was far less interesting. Oliver Behrman took his second win of the weekend from Enzo Fittipaldi. Théo Pourchaire leads the title race with Frederik Vesti and Ayumu Iwasa not far behind, and a whole host of drivers in the pack behind that, who only need a good weekend to be a part of the championship picture. I feel sorry for Victor Martins. He is driving better than anyone in this series until he crashes out of races. His form is terrible, and despite being ever present at the top of the field, he's only scored points at 2 races. A long way to go though, and I'm sure Victor Martins will have his day. F1 Academy raced for the first time in Austria. You'll be forgiven for not giving a damn, because the FIA clearly didn't. This was not broadcast, just a highlights package. I'll talk about the F1 Academy later in the week, but as for the racing, Marta Garcia won 2 races and Amna Al-Khabaisi won the other. The racing looked okay, the 3 minutes per race we saw. TCR Europe and World Tour from Portimao. I can't say I was excited for this, more a sense of trepidation. This series has complete mess written all over it. I will say it was nice to see a bigger grid for the World Tour than last year's World Championship, but I would like to see a few more manufacturers involved. Race 1 was not very exciting. Hyundai dominated with Mikulits beating Ascona. Race 2 started with more of a bang. Kobe Powles made contact with Dujan Borkovic and brought out the safety car. Nestor Girolami was involved in that too, and he stopped on the track just as the race was getting going again, so the safety car came back out. Not a lot happened after that. Santiago Arusha won the second race after not finishing in race 1. This was not a good start for the World Tour, but Portimao is not a great touring car track. I don't know why anyone thought it was a good choice to start the season there. Euro Formula also came to us from Portimao with nearly as many races as drivers. That's 3 if you didn't know, and after one car broke down on a formation lap, only 8 cars took part in race 1. Enzo Trilli won from Tim Tranmere and Noel Leon. Those 3 look a class above the rest. Enzo Trilli followed that up by jumping up to second at the start of the reverse grid race. In all fairness, the last couple of laps were epic as Tim Tranmere was trying to find a way past Francesco Simonazzi and ended up touching wheels with Trilli. It was a good fight with Simonazzi taking the win. The final race was pretty good. The usual 3 suspects made their way to the front. Tramnitz and Trilli made contact again, and Noel Leon won. Enzo Trilli is probably not doing the full series, which is a shame, and the racing was actually pretty good, but there are not enough cars, and I question whether or not this series needs to exist. These drivers could race in Formula Regional Europe, Formula 4, or even Formula 3. The grids are just too small to make this series worth a damn. Supercars was in Perth for 3 races. Shane van Gisbergen hasn't been dominating this series like he did for the last 2 years. Brody Kostecki, Will Brown, Chaz Mostert, Cam Waters and cameos from other drivers have proved to be more threatening. Even James Courtney is driving at the best level I've seen from him for the last decade. The first race was nothing special but came to life in the last few laps. Shane van Gisbergen had to work hard to get past a hard defending Brody Kostecki. A lot of contact, but eventually SVG got through and took the win. Erebus took an impressive 1-2 in race 2. I don't know where this pace has come from, but Erebus are shining right now. They were second and third in race 3, and it was a 888 car in first, but not Van Gisbergen. Brock Feeney took his second win, with SVG only 12th, after coming from the back of the field. These races weren't particularly interesting, but it is nice to see other drivers doing well. Brody Kostecki even leads the championship for now. Just a quick word on the World Rally Raid Championship. They have their 3rd round of the season, the Sonora Rally in Mexico. I think the World Rally Raid Championship has a big future, but they need to sort out the coverage of this series. At the moment, it is dreadful. Maybe it's my computer, but the live timings crashed constantly, and the highlight packages are woeful. The FIA need to advertise this series better, encourage a higher standard of competition, and maybe simplify it a little bit. Beyond that, change the name of the Dakar Rally, make it your centrepiece, and add a few more smaller rounds to make the championship a bit more compelling. There's potential with this series, but at the moment, it's being squandered. So that was all the action from the past weekend. Some good stuff here, but my pick of the bunch has to be the World Endurance Championship from Spa-Francorchamps. Still my motorsport of choice in 2023. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Next weekend we have more Formula 1 from Miami. Hopefully something actually happens this time. We also have Super GT, BTCC, Formula E, TCR UK, GB3 and British GT. So make sure you subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a good one.